Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amity Gilmour and this is my life. A few videos back I asked you guys questions about all things to do with a feeding tube and experiencing a feeding tube and what it's like to have one.
I am actually going to be doing a Q&A about my experience with a feeding tube because I've been getting a lot of questions online and on Instagram from people who are in the same situation I was. So I will do a comment in the comment section asking for your questions and then just reply to that comment with your questions to do with all things to do with life of the feeding tube.
You guys came in with some really good questions, so this is what this video is about. I am doing a feeding tube Q&A. Do keep in mind that this is all based on my personal experience, so everyone's experience is different and what might be true for one person may not be true for another. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoy this Q&A. Let's get in with the video.
Make things right. I hold you and wipe your tears.
Okay, I have to get my questions up. Okay, first question. Is the liquid nutrition soy-based? So I did have to look into this one with the little nutrition card that comes on the actual feed bag, but it's actually both soy and cow's milk, so they have both elements of cow's milk and soy. I know a lot of people can't have cow's milk and that's a struggle for them to find a feed that doesn't have cow's milk in it. However, cow's milk for me is not an issue unless it's a full-blown thing of a milkshake or milk that's not lactose free, because when I have milk drinks I need lactose free. Okay, next question. How many hours do you feed for? I actually feed for about, it changes all the time depending on my rate. My rate at the moment is very low because every single time I bring up my rate, which is basically meals per an hour, which is how much is being pumped into you each hour, my rate is really low because every time I bring it up a bit I get real bad reflux. But I did actually bring it up a bit yesterday and I haven't had much bad reflux. I also haven't had much good English. Basically I'm feeding for 24 hours a day at this current moment. Is the tube to provide the nutrition you need over the course of how many hours as a steady stream in a small amounts that your digestive system can handle, since eating all of the food you need in a regular meal is too much for your digestive system to handle all at once? That is a really good question, very well thought out, and my only answer to that is yes. That is literally, that is why I have it. Good on you. What are the ingredients in a feed? Like, is it a whole list of science words or actual food ingredients? Okay, so this is a really good question. It is basically a whole bunch of, if you get like the feed bag here, this is what it looks like, and you just take this off the front. It says, if I can find the English version, English please. Basically it is a whole bunch of science words and a whole bunch of vitamins, minerals, just a whole bunch of different stuff that I don't even know what some of this stuff means. A lot of sciencey based words. Why did they decide you need one? A lot of people usually will lose a whole heap of weight and they're like, we have to intervene. That wasn't the case for me. I lost a whole bunch of weight back in 2020 and I probably would have needed one back then, but I didn't get one. Instead I got medication, which was life-saving. Like, it was really good medication, but unfortunately I can't be on that medication anymore. But that medication also helped me to gain weight, which is a really good thing because I was not a healthy weight at all. However, the reason they decided to give it to me was more based on my symptoms, because I kept on vomiting 5 times every night. And also on top of that, I was having so much struggles with dehydration. My dehydration was just really bad. I was going into hospital multiple times to have to get a drip because I just couldn't drink water. Like, that's the main thing with me. Water is something I really struggle to drink. How is life with it now that you are living with one? Life is better. I wouldn't say it's like this amazing thing that just like really changed and saved my life. At first it was, but then I realized how much of a hassle it is, and I keep vomiting these tubes up, which really sucks. It really has helped and there has been an improvement. It's just that it wasn't as big as an improvement as I thought it was gonna be. I kind of thought I'd get my entire life back, but obviously my life is not back. I will say though, when I do vomit my tube up and I'm left without a tube, usually I don't like to go into the hospital that same day because I just put it off because I'm stupid and I just hate the hospital. Even though it's a great place, they do amazing stuff at the hospital, but it's not a fun place to be. So I didn't want to go into the hospital, and so every single time I get worse and worse and really badly dehydrated, and I look like death. Like I look absolutely awful from the dehydration without one. So it really is helping in that sense, but does it give me all the energy I want? Not all the time, but that's okay because I just need to accept that my body just doesn't like me anymore. Why do you pull them out and put new ones back in? Okay, this is a really interesting one. So I don't pull them out and put them back in kind of in that sense. So basically most of the time I vomit them out. You did see me pull it out in a video before, and I'll link that video up here, but basically the reason I pulled it out was because I was getting a new one the next day that was an NJ, because what I had was an NG, which is a nasogastric tube, but I was getting it replaced with the tube that I actually needed, which is a nasal jejunum tube the next day. So to make it easier for the doctor who was placing a nasal jejunum tube, I pulled out the nasogastric tube the day before the procedure. All other times I did not pull it out. It came out, I vomited it out. With one exception that I vomited it pretty much almost all the way out, that I had to pull the rest out. But yeah, so I don't deliberately pull them out, I vomit them out. Why do I keep getting them placed back in? Well, because they get vomited out and I need them. Like I said, dehydration just, it's not fun, and without it, that's what happens. So I need them. So I keep getting them placed because I keep vomiting them out. Do you still get bloated after feeds, or have you had less flare-ups because you aren't eating orally? So this is a really good question. So I do get bloated still, and that's mainly probably because I'm stupid and I like to eat solids still, which I shouldn't. But I am a big foodie and I love food, even though food hates me and hates my body. When I'm able to, and when I'm actually feeling like I could digest something, not that I can, but sometimes I just feel like I can. Like I don't feel too nauseous that I can't eat. I will have a solid, and that solid will make me bloat like crazy and I will feel really, really sick. So yes, I still do, but that's more, I think that's more from an oral point stance or whatever. I think that's because I take it orally. Like I still take things orally, but like I don't take that much orally. Like my main source of nutrition is in the backpack and everything else is bonus. The second part of this question is, or have you had less flare-ups because you aren't eating orally? So I am eating orally, but I am mainly having the backpack and the feeds in there. However, I do get flare-ups, and I don't even know if flare-ups are to do all the time with what I eat. I think a lot of the time it's to do with a whole bunch of different factors. Like I sometimes feel that like weather, like hot weather can cause a flare-up as well. But there can be a lot of different factors to why I have flare-ups. Sometimes I don't even know why I have flare-ups, they just happen. Most of the time that's how it is really. I just go into a flare-up and there's like literally no explanation as to why I'm in a flare-up. What exactly are you eating through your tube? What I eat through my tube is Peptazorb. It's a formula, kind of think of like baby formula. It's kind of like that, only it's like full of a lot of nutrition, like heaps of nutrition, and it goes through the tube instead of going orally. So this is basically what I eat, or I don't really eat it, like it just goes in sort of thing. It goes in through my tube. This is the magic stuff. the magic formula. This is what I have. Other things I take through my tube are medications. Not all medications, but some medications I do take through my tube. But in terms of purees and stuff, I take them orally. I do not put purees through my tube because that can clog it, and I really don't want to clog my tube. I mean, I have heard of some people putting purees through their tube, which, I mean, if it works for them, that's great. But for me, I'm just super paranoid about blocking it because I've already had so many troubles with vomiting out and having to get it replaced that I don't want to block one and have to get it replaced. Can you insert your own tube? So no, I cannot insert my own tube. I think some people do insert their own tube. I, however, don't. I go into emergency to get it inserted by a doctor or a nurse. And inserting my own tube is just not something that I'm keen to ever learn to do. That would be really, like, I don't think I would find that fun at all. I do sometimes have to, like, when it comes out a bit, like, kind of thread it through back in again. But that's like the closest I've been to like putting my own tube in, because it would be way too hard for me. So that was my Q&A for my experience with a feeding tube. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you liked it even more, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You can also follow me over on my Instagram at Amity Gilmour. Love you guys. God bless.